the Bills have now clinched the AFC East by virtue of their victory.
Who would have thought that? Week 13, the Dolphins and the
earliest
Jets.
time ever.
If you told me the Bills clinched the AFC East on Week 13 on a Sunday night, I'd be like, what? How could that happen?
The only thing we knew when the season started was the Patriots were probably going to finish fourth.
Yeah.
And as it turns out, the Jets and the Dolphins, to a certain extent, although they're trying to dig out of it, are down near the bottom, and the Bills ran away with it. And if the Dolphins hadn't gone on that 3-game winning streak, the Bills might have clinched it last week, maybe even the week before. So the Bills now, and Sean McDermott, the head coach, said this after the game, the goal is the number 1 seed. They're one game behind the Chiefs, and they hold the tiebreaker.
That's right.
We're going to do a little Thanksgiving leftovers segment later, but both number 1 seeds should have lost between Thanksgiving Day and Black Friday.
Yeah.
The Lions should have lost, and the Chiefs definitely should have lost.
Chiefs definitely.
And think of how different the vibe would be right now if the Bills, in the aftermath of that snow game, are now the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Right. Yeah. The Lions, I don't feel as strongly as they should have.
They should have gone to overtime.
At least to overtime.
We don't know what would have happened in
that.
overtime.
And
Chiefs should have lost.
Chiefs should have lost. Chiefs were outplayed. And the other thing with the Lions that I think you got to take into account, I know we'll hit it on in a little bit. Some of those injuries, I think we're deflating.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about it. And that's going to be a problem.
Oh my gosh, right.
They may not hold the 1 seed in the NFC with all those injuries.
But the Buffalo Bills continue to go upward trajectory. Continue to show us, you, me, anybody out there that this is a different Buffalo Bills team than we've seen the last few years. Again, we know Josh Allen's the man, but they don't have to depend on Josh Allen every play, every minute. It's just a smattering of Josh Allen. Hey, make a big play here, do this there. But they're a complete football team. Their defense isn't super awesome, but it's damn good. It's well coached, and they're going to make you work for everything. So that's never going to be easy. The offensive side of the ball, they're becoming, I would say, elite on that side of the ball. Between the bind they put teams on, again, like you saw last night, the 49ers had no chance of stopping the run. I mean, the Bills are putting teams in position with other opposing defenses where they did this to the Chiefs too. It's like, oh no, they're going to overpower us, or oh no, we're never going to get to Josh Allen if we just rush forward. So we got to put people in the line of scrimmage. We got to play aggressive there. And then as you see last night, and we've seen a bunch of other weeks, they got more guys that can make plays down the field in the pass game and beat man-to-man coverage than ever before. So when you couple that with the O-line and people having to crowd the box and do all that, the Bills got something working. The Bills are no question one of the best teams in football, and I think for sure the best team in the AFC right now.
And you're surprised by that.
I am. I did not think we were going to see this. I didn't know. I mean, I think the trade for Amari Cooper was good. The Keon Coleman, I know he's been banged up, but that's another guy that can beat man-to-man coverage. Khalil Shakir's taking a step up. You know, Dalton Kincaid went to another level as compared to last year. And I didn't believe that they would literally be dedicated to the run like they are, right? I thought, oh, they'll fall back into the same bull crap the Bills do every year. They'll go, we want to run the ball and be tough this year. And by week 3, they'll go, let's just throw it 50 times a game with Josh Allen because he's our best player. And that's where I am surprised by it. And I'm impressed by it. And impressed by the moves they made during the trade deadline. But this right here, I mean, we're seeing a lot of this every week with Buffalo right now. Open up a hole, big plays, James Cook, push the pile, whatever you want to be. They have a true physical brand and style that they did not have these other years where they lost to the Chiefs in the playoffs or the Bengals or whatever. They're not going to be compromised physically up front against some of these better teams in football like the past.
And now they've got their opportunity. If we've got their remaining schedule, they have a chance to chase down the Chiefs and maybe make Kansas City. Not that Kansas City can't play in the elements.
Yeah, right.
But you make them go on the road. Last year, they had to go on the road to Buffalo and then to Baltimore, and it was an uphill climb in both games. And I think the fact that they were underdogs in both games helped them, and they defied everyone's expectations by winning those games. You still want to have those games at home if you can. You want the week off if you can get it. You want to force the Chiefs to play another game while you're resting up and recovering and getting ready for an eventual rematch with Kansas City back in Buffalo. Boy, coming up, Buffalo, Detroit. That should be.
Yeah, the next 2 weeks
that
are
might be a
the
significant
test for
game.
Buffalo.
That might be a significant game. After that, they get to do a tour of the division. Well,
Rams and Detroit
not even a
the
tour,
next 2 weeks.
not a full tour. They get the Patriots twice in the final 3 weeks, which
Right.
once upon a time would have been must-see TV. Now not. Then they get the Jets in between. But yeah, the Rams, who I frankly think, we were talking about the NFC West earlier. I think the Rams are of
That'd be
the four
team I'd
teams.
put
They're
the
the
money
team
on.
I'd be concerned about
Right.
because they've got the experience, they've got the pedigree, they've got the talent.
They can make in-game coaching changes or adjustments. Definitely. I'm with you, Mike. Nobody's going to want to see Stafford and Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua and Kyron Williams walking into town wild card weekend. And I know you're going to.
And I still firmly believe that the Lions of all the teams that the Lions want coming in. I mean, you don't want the Vikings or the Packers coming in, but you don't want Matthew Stafford coming back to town.
Well, yeah, that's going to be a lot of pressure on them regardless.
I just think generally in the NFC, you don't want the Rams in the playoffs. Any of those teams, you don't want to face the Rams.
They're scary.
Give me any of the other teams in the NFC West right now than the Rams, and they may have a chance if they can work their way through and catch the Seahawks.
Yeah.
But the Bills, I agree with you. They're better than I think anyone expected them to be.
Mm-hmm.
And we always say this at the beginning of the season. You're going to get better or you're going to get worse. You're not going to be the team that you were in early September.
And we've seen them just continue to
and
climb upwards,
and they keep getting better and better, and
They
they've
have.
addressed their flaws. And this whole idea of Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs and 4 of their top receivers from last year are gone. Oh no, what are they going to do? And the whole Stephon Diggs thing, like, what was he doing last year? People were like, oh, they can't survive without Stephon Diggs. Once they changed coordinators from Ken Dorsey to Joe Brady, Diggs was like an afterthought.
Yeah, they stopped putting it on a pedestal. They stopped going, wait, let's stop formulating the offense around a guy that's really a number 2 receiver in football. Why are we going all in on let's make the play for a number 2 receiver? That's really what it was. And then off of that, their number 2 receiver is really a number 3 or a number 4 receiver in Gabe Davis. So that's where they were compromised. They are far more dangerous with this group right here. Amari Cooper is way scarier than anybody on that team last year, man-to-man. And that goes, again, even for Khalil Shakir, who continues to get better and better. And then Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox, when they're healthy and going, they got that ability. Mac Hollins, you saw him last night. Quirky, funny, weird guy walking into the stadium with no shoes on, even though it's 20 degrees. Doesn't matter. Whatever team he's on, he's a down-the-field deep threat. So they found the right personnel to fit the right formula or the formula in which they play. Run the ball, worry about that, worry about Josh Allen running the football, and then as soon as you come up there, now they got some guys in a system that can capitalize down the field, and they're playing good football. And I know I said last night, I think the Lions and the Eagles are a little bit in their own class. I think they're the 2 best teams in the football. I think the Bills are just on the outside looking in on that. They're very close to that, and they can probably change my mind here down the stretch, but they're the team in the AFC.
The group of real contenders just seems to keep getting
smaller and smaller, right?
And smaller,
right?
Smaller.
Yes,
and it may be down to 3 or 4.
I hear.
It may be down to 3.
I look at. I'm with you. There's some teams I think we're still out to judgment here a little bit, but. I'm with you in Detroit, Philadelphia, Buffalo. We're definitely Kansas City. We're hitting that. Pittsburgh, the way they're playing, they're starting to make me think, wow, they can really make a run and do the Super Bowl thing, where I thought there was just maybe a playoff type of football team. Green Bay is the other team I really look at. I think they're extremely talented.
There's 3 factors.
Yeah.
No matter how good the best teams look and as if they've separated. Number 1, you do have the possibility that there's going to be a team that just catches fire and figures shit out and irons out their flaws and gets better and better and better down the stretch, and then they're going to be formidable in the postseason. Injuries are the thing that can drag down a great team. Mm-hmm. Case in point, the Lions defense.
That's right.
And then number 3, at the end of the day, they don't play best of 5. They don't play best of 3. It's 60 minutes of football, and it can all evaporate. That special season, that's a pretty special season you got there. It'd be a shame if something happens to it in 60 minutes on a Saturday afternoon, especially after you've been off for a week and a team that just won a playoff game is coming in with nothing to lose.
Exactly.
And they got a little sweat going.
Exactly.
And they catch you with an uppercut.
Right.
And the next thing you know, your special season's over.
Exactly.
That can happen too. And we see it happen almost every year.
Yeah, right. Exactly right.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.